Tonight, Indigenous leaders meet in Prince Albert to discuss security in hospitals. Dozens of students gather in the Qu'Appelle Valley to show off their science projects.
Canada's top female skier.
And how Saskatoon's Maïa Schwinghammer is inspiring the next generation of skiers.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, February 13th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. The Prince Albert Grand Council is working to improve the safety of Indigenous patients in Saskatchewan hospitals. It comes after 2 incidents involving hospital security in PA and Saskatoon. Leaders met Friday with police and the health authority to get the conversation started. Aisha Ashraf has our top story.
Understanding the problems and different points of view, that was the focus of the Prince Albert Grand Council's roundtable. It involved stakeholders like the Saskatchewan Health Authority and police. This meeting was sparked by mounting pressure from 2 security incidents. The first in Prince Albert back in December. An Indigenous man in a wheelchair was removed from the emergency department by security and left lying in the snow. The second at Saskatoon's Royal University Hospital was deadly. 36-year-old cancer patient Trevor Dubois died after a physical altercation with security. Vice Chief Joseph Desani says something needs to be done.
It's like we feel like we're not included, we're not welcome in these facilities.
The health authority says it wants Indigenous people to speak up about their experiences so changes can be made.
We're committed to being accountable, we're committed to being transparent, we're not trying to hide behind anything. But these are really complicated and hard situations.
The big focus is contracted and privatized security in public services. The Grand Council says it wants clear rules around training, use of force, and who's accountable when things go wrong.
You have to have some training how you're going to approach a person with a Indigenous, not Indigenous, but with those challenges of addictions. You have to have training. And I don't know if they do that.
Grand Chief Brian Hardlot says Indigenous leaders are willing to work together to better training and cross-culture education. He says it takes dedication between the moving parts to create real change. And conversations like these are just a start. Aisha Ashraf, CBC News, Prince Albert.
A gathering of political leaders in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia on Friday. They're there for a vigil to mark the shootings earlier this week. 9 people died, including the suspect, most of them at a school. And people in the small town are wondering if they will ever feel safe again. Caroline Bargout has that story.
Duncan Mackay doesn't know if he can ever go back to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. He and his cousin were in gym class on Tuesday when they heard gunshots.
Then my teacher went out to check and he saw students on the floor. On the top floor, he went up to see, and he saw bullet holes in the glass, came back down.
The teacher locked the students in an equipment room and tried to distract them.
He managed to keep everyone in that equipment room, calm. He kept lifting up the mood whenever it started going down. He maybe cracked a joke, keep everyone morale up.
It was about 2 hours before police came and escorted them out of the school, past the blood and bullet holes that told the story of what had happened.
I was looking around. There was the back of someone's heel, footprints, On the heel there was blood.
Duncan was in school that day, but his mother, Tiffany Hildebrandt, kept his 12-year-old brother home.
I don't know why I didn't send him to school. The day before, he was kind of pale, so I just didn't wake him up the next day. And if I did, it could have been very different for our family, because those were all his classmates.
That boy's best friend died in the shooting. The family had just moved to Tumbler Ridge in September. It immediately felt like home, but that feeling has been shaken.
We lock our doors down. We didn't lock our doors when we got here. My children lock our doors. They're scared.
Hildebrandt and her business partner own a bistro in town. They decided to stay open to feed first responders and provide a safe place for the community and for the affected families to go.
I just wanted to be here for them, if they want to talk, if they want a shoulder to lean on, if they just need a place to go so people leave them alone. We're here.
A Saskatoon judge has handed down a 14-year sentence to a man for a brazen daylight shooting. Zenon Thomas learned his fate Thursday in Court of King's Bench. He had pleaded guilty to manslaughter for killing Caleb Tom just over 3 years ago. The judge says it was a deliberate, senseless, and unprovoked killing. When Thomas had the chance to speak at a court hearing last month, he chose not to. His aunt says he regretted that and apologized to Tom's family on his behalf.
It's a devastating loss on both families. For us because, well, you know, young life, he's going to be in there for a long time, and it's hard. It's hard for our family too, and also for the other family. And so my deepest condolences, and you know, I'm sorry for your loss and what happened. You know, I'm sorry.
After credit for his time on remand, Thomas has 9 years and 3 months left to serve. Saskatchewan Polytechnic is changing its plan to move one of its programs from its Saskatoon campus to Regina. Earlier this week, we told you the Electronic Systems Engineering Technology program would be moved to Regina this fall. That means students still in the program by then would have to move cities to complete the course. But a Sask Polytech spokesperson now tells CBC News all students currently in the program will be able to complete their studies in Saskatoon. The program will still eventually move to Regina, but that won't happen until its current students have graduated. The program won't also be taking new students until after it has moved. A group of Regina residents is urging city leaders to reconsider a proposed transit fare hike. 20 handwritten love letters were delivered to Regina's mayor and council Friday. The letters highlight how important the service is for people who rely on it every day. Advocates say the proposed 10% fare increase would make getting around more unaffordable.
Especially us being low income, $2.75 each ride is a lot. Especially when I was running 2 jobs after school and having to take care of my sisters after school. So totaling up those rides in a day is a lot more than just $2.75 for someone like me.
City Council is expected to vote later this month on the fare increase. Advocates say Regina already has some of the highest transit fares among comparable cities while spending less per person on the service. Some First Nations students found a way to meld culture with innovation at a science, technology, engineering, and math fair in Lebret this week. And there were some unique projects on display. Randy LaRocque was out there to check it out.
More than 100 First Nations students came to Lebret to show off their projects, from volcanoes to sacred medicines, each one focused on science, technology, engineering, or math.
Natural versus artificial cloud formation, so how cloud seeding changes the formation to it, what we're adding.
Seraphine Bellegarde learned about cloud seeding, a method to increase precipitation. She sees a practical application to stop wildfires.
I want it to be a wider used technique for preventative measures against forest fires, because forest fires, with the climate going higher and higher, they're more often, more common, getting hotter and hotter.
The File Hills Capel Tribal Council put on the STEM fair. These grade 7 students from Standing Buffalo learned about red willow and how it was used in traditional medicine and in cradle boards to carry babies. They turned to elders and knowledge keepers for their input.
In the language of Dakota, we call cradle boards cha-sha, cha-cha, akimpi. And then for red willow, we just call it cha-sha-sha.
The girls are proud to weave their culture into their project.
It's actually really exciting. And
for people to know our culture and how they used to live back then.
And that we can keep our history as Indigenous people.
As judging took place, students took part in breakout sessions. They learned how to use a bow and arrow, fry fish, and even cook moose meat.
You guys are eating Uncle's secret recipe.
Joe Putra brought the moose meat and made the fire. For him, the STEM fair is important.
This is them being able to showcase what it is, what they think science is. right? And science is everything, it's everywhere. And in here, it's amazing some of the projects that they've done, like really innovative.
Those who win prizes here go on to compete against students from almost every First Nation in the province, then possibly nationals. Randy LaRocque, CBC News, Lebret.
Yes, a bike ride in February. Yeah, sure, why not? This weather is perfect for it. It is getting to the point where it's not even muddy in spots anymore because the sun's been out for so many days. Don't even need the fat tire bikes because there's not much snow either. More dog walks and bike rides are likely on order for this long weekend, but after it is over, boy, it looks like Old Man Winter is planning to make a big comeback. Weather specialist Mickey Wolf has the details in her forecast after the break. Canada West women's basketball teams are in playoff mode, and the University of Saskatchewan Huskies are getting ready for their quarterfinal match on Saturday. The team has an impressive winning streak, has gone undefeated this regular season, and is now looking to repeat their national championship win. Eric Stakowicz has that story.
November 2024 was the last time the UFS Huskies women's basketball team lost a game. The defending national champions have now won 50 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean 50, that's just crazy to think of. Kind of snuck up on us actually. It's not something that you really think about as the season's going on. You want to win every game, you want to do as well as you possibly can.
Guard Maya Flendell says the team's depth is even deeper this season. She says the team briefly celebrated the streak, but the job is far from over.
But I know that we're all kind of in the space of, the regular season wins or the winning streak really doesn't matter if we don't get to kind of that end goal that we want. And so in the playoffs, it doesn't matter how many wins you have in a row.
This playoff run will be special, as the team has 8 players who are in their 4th year or higher. That includes Captain Gage Grasick. She ranks 6th all-time in playoff points and 2nd all-time in steals in Canada West history.
Our team's such an incredible group, and we're super resilient, and I think that's also what makes us so special. We want to go as far into playoffs as we possibly can, and just keeping our heads up no matter what.
Tom Midas has led the program to 3 titles in 2016, 2020, and 2025. She thinks the team can still go another gear.
There's always something you can get better at. So I think that's the mindset and the philosophy and really the mantra of this team is just you got to put in the work and continue to do it because there's a lot of players out there, a lot of teams that are working really hard and know that we've got a bit of a target on our backs.
Tom Midas is now just 12 wins away from tying legendary Canadian women's basketball coach Kathy Shields for all-time playoff wins. Eric Stakowicz, CBC News, Regina.
And weather specialist Mickey Wolf joining us now. Some records being broken on the basketball court and in our weather as well, Mickey.
Absolutely, Ethan. We've been seeing a lot of record-breaking daytime highs throughout February, and yesterday was no different. Let's take a look at some of those records broken across the province. For Scott, Saskatchewan, we had a record from 1928 smashed yesterday, the new high of 4.2 degrees. And our second oldest of the day for Kindersley saw a high of 7.7 degrees yesterday, beating that high of 5.3 degrees. And tonight we've got a little bit of fog active for parts of southeast Saskatchewan. We're seeing a fog advisory there, folks. So what that means is we're just seeing some very low visibility to no visibility throughout the evening, and that's a fairly high confidence forecast as well from Environment Canada. Our daytime highs today, we're still seeing those March-like temperatures, if you will, across southern Saskatchewan. Even in the central region, it was a bit of a warm-up up today as well compared to the past few days. This work week we've seen for central Saskatchewan. Our skies are looking like a mix of sun and cloud. Right now, the sun setting across Saskatchewan. We are looking towards a little bit more of a mix of sun and cloud this weekend. We'll definitely get some sunny breaks, and we are seeing potential for some freezing rain tomorrow night in Regina. We're also going to see a little bit more snow throughout the weekend, especially for the north. But the question on everybody's mind is always how much snow. Now, we're not going to see too much across southern Saskatchewan, at least not up to a centimeter this weekend, but the central region might see 1 to 3 centimeters, especially for those corner parts of the central region near Alberta and near Manitoba. In the north, we are getting a little bit more of a gradual snowfall over the weekend, just up to 4 centimeters for the far north. Now, our temperatures are starting to drop down, especially Sunday night. We're going to see that -30. We're getting some of that white back for the far north, and things are definitely looking cooler. The southwest corner still looking to be near that 0-degree mark. Now, for Valentine's Day, again, in Regina, we might see a little bit of freezing rain in the evening hours. Could also fall as some snow flurries though as well, so just be on the lookout for that if you're out for a drive or even a walk. Check those sidewalks before you step with too much swagger on Valentine's Day evening. Tuesday and Wednesday, we might see a return to snow for the province, likely a few centimeters, and then things really start to cool down as we get later into the work week, and it's much of the same for Saskatoon. We are likely seeing some snowfall Tuesday evening into Wednesday, and then a big cool down as we get into Thursday and Friday overnight. So Ethan, I'm going to enjoy this long weekend and get outside as much as I can, even though the couch is so tempting on a Saturday.
Okay, thanks, Mickey.
Thank you.
Saskatoon's Maïa Schwinghammer is making a name for herself at an Olympic level, and of course, she's a star in her own hometown. She's inspiring the next generation of skiers at Optimist Hill and making those who helped her along the way proud.
It's a small hill, a bump on the prairie, really, but Optimist Hill,
Canada's top female skier,
is where Olympians like Maïa Schwinghammer are made.
Nice cork 7 on the top there.
Tom Wilms built this ramp.
We all affectionately call it the Maïa jump.
A training ramp for Schwinghammer as she prepared for the world stage.
Know that Olympian was riding on something that I built, kind of special.
Keeping it tight, approaching the bottom area.
And that hometown preparation paid off.
Yes! Led perfectly!
In the moguls this week, Schwinghammer flew, missing the Olympic podium by less than a point. But back home,
that could be us someday.
She's now inspiring other prairie kids to dream big. And even though Saskatoon isn't the Alps, for these young skiers, it's where they train, hang out with Maïa, and realize their goals aren't that far away.
I think I felt the most touched by when she said that we can do anything that we put our mind to.
It was super exciting, super cool. I was so proud, and I was just like really impressed. It's really inspiring for me.
Wilms says it doesn't matter whether you're in a small town or the flat lands.
You can learn anywhere. And out here, this is typically the perfect place out here.
Schwinghammer may have placed 5th in moguls, but back home on the hill, she's still #1. And there's still excitement as her dual moguls event is coming up on Saturday. Aishwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Figure skating duo Diana Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps were back on the ice for training in Milan Friday. The pair was forced to withdraw from last week's team event after Stellato-Dudek struck her head on the ice just days before the games began. Earlier this week, she was cleared to compete in the pairs competition, which gets underway Sunday.
Feeling much better now, feeling really close to back to 100%, and just thankful I'm able to go riding again. Luckily, there was no other injuries, and I've been lucky enough to have such great support from the Canadian team, and ran through so many tests and have been officially greenlit to be out here. So feeling good and just building my confidence day by day.
And Regina snowboarder Mark McMorris has also been cleared to compete in Italy. McMorris says he has recovered from the concussion he suffered earlier this month during a practice run. He competes in the men's slopestyle event on Monday. Stay with us. We will have more Olympic news and a final look at our long weekend forecast after the break. Welcome back. At the Milano Cortina Winter Games, hockey is in the spotlight with the Canadian men's team beating Switzerland 5-1, and the embattled women's team is now hoping their star captain might return to the ice.
This sport, it's physical. There's moments that happen. You go down, but you come back up, and that's the most important thing. And again, I'm surrounded with great teammates, and we'll go one game at a time here.
Marie-Philippe Poulin was on the ice Friday for practice. She hasn't played since sustaining a knee injury on Monday. On to men's curling, where Brad Jacobs skipped Canada to their second win in 2 tries, defeating the U.S. 6-3. The women's team, though, did not fare so well, losing 9-8 to the U.S. In skeleton, it was a rough day for Team Canada. Neither the men's nor women's teams managed to crack through past the top 10. All in all, Team Canada is still fighting for its first gold at the Milano Cortina 2026 Olympic Games. And Mickey, here's hoping our weekend forecast will maybe score gold on the podium.
I hope so, Ethan. I'd love to see some gold. Maybe we'll see some sunshine tomorrow, at least in south and central Saskatchewan. Let's take a look at our overnight temperatures tonight. Folks, we've got still a relatively warmer evening before things really cool down into next week. We've got those lows just around -5 for most of southern Saskatchewan tonight. Then we're seeing temperatures closer to -10 for the central region and the Churchill region as well. Things are definitely feeling a bit cooler for the far north, but not much cooler, near -15 for those lows tonight. As we get into tomorrow, we're seeing cloudier skies across most of the north. And then for south and central Saskatchewan, we will get some pockets of gold in the form of sunshine, but we are seeing quite a bit of cloud cover here and there, and then potentially some flurries. Then again, we're looking at that freezing rain possibility for Regina into those evening hours. So Ethan, when it's sunny out tomorrow, you know, you got to make hay while the sun shines. I'm going to run outside and then go back inside if we see some freezing rain.
Yeah, especially since we know what's coming eventually. Thanks, Mickey.
Yes, thank you.
And that is our news for this Friday. We invite you to tune into a special edition of CBC Saskatchewan News on Monday. We are bringing you stories and interviews from Prince Albert to celebrate our new bureau there. That is Monday at 5 p.m. on CBC TV, or you can watch it on demand afterward wherever you watch CBC. Thanks so much for watching this week. Have a great weekend.